The 2025 Formula One season has turned McLaren's dream revival into a nightmare of suspicion and distrust. While Oscar Piastri continues to lead the championship battle with calm precision, behind the scenes, the foundations of his own team appear to be cracking. A shocking courtroom testimony from IndyCar champion Alex Palou has now ripped open McLaren's carefully constructed image, suggesting that Zak Brown, the man who orchestrated Piastri's signing, never truly wanted him there. Instead, Palou claims Brown was forced into the decision and held quiet resentment ever since. These revelations come at the worst possible time for McLaren. With growing rumours of favoritism towards Lando Norris and whispers of sabotage against Piastri, the team's unity is being tested like never before. And if the latest allegations are true, the story behind McLaren's young prodigy might be far darker than fans ever imagined. Before we dive deeper into this explosive controversy, make sure you're subscribed, because what's happening inside McLaren right now could reshape not just their season, but the entire future of Formula One itself. Let's unpack how this courtroom drama became one of the biggest scandals McLaren has faced in years. It all began when Alex Palou, a four-time IndyCar champion, filed a witness statement in the UK High Court against McLaren, revealing private conversations with Zak Brown that directly involve Oscar Piastri. According to Palou, McLaren had made him believe he was on a clear path to Formula One. He was promised that joining McLaren's IndyCar team would serve as a stepping stone to the main stage. But everything changed in August 2022, when McLaren shocked the paddock by signing Oscar Piastri fresh off a messy contractual fight with Alpine. Palou alleges that when he met Zak Brown soon after, Brown admitted that signing Piastri was not his choice. Instead, Brown supposedly blamed then-team principal Andreas Seidel for pushing the decision through. Brown reportedly told Palou that Piastri's performance would be measured against his own, and hinted that the door to F1 was still open, though Palou says he already knew that opportunity had vanished. What's remarkable here is not just the allegation itself, but what it suggests about the internal politics of McLaren's management. If true, this means Zak Brown may have been privately opposed to the very driver who's now leading the 2025 World Championship. It paints a picture of a divided leadership, one side driven by marketing and sponsorship potential, the other by genuine racing strategy, and the tension between those two forces has seemingly been brewing ever since. Fast forward to today, and the signs of dysfunction are everywhere. At the Singapore Grand Prix, cameras caught Norris forcing Piastri wide into turn 1, with McLaren choosing not to intervene. Later in the race, when the engineers asked Norris if he'd allow Piastri to pit first, he flatly refused. Veteran F1 analyst Peter Windsor called it unprecedented in half a century of racing a situation where a driver appeared to control team strategy mid-race, while the engineers stood silent. These moments now look very different in light of Palou's testimony. Could Zak Brown's alleged bias towards Norris be subtly shaping McLaren's strategy calls? Is it possible that McLaren's hierarchy, knowingly or not, is undermining Piastri from within? Let's look at this from a performance and politics perspective. Piastri is currently leading the World Championship by 22 points, yet despite his consistency and composure, he's rarely received the kind of strategic support or vocal backing that other championship leaders get. Compare that to how Mercedes rallied behind Hamilton during their dominance, or how Red Bull built an empire around Verstappen-McLaren's communication feels fractured, almost conflicted. It's important to remember that Zak Brown has built McLaren's modern brand on partnerships, sponsorships, and global visibility. He's turned the team into a marketing powerhouse more than just a racing outfit. And in that vision, Lando Norris fits perfectly, a charismatic British driver with a massive online following and a personality that connects effortlessly with younger fans. He's marketable, relatable, and an ideal face for sponsors. Oscar Piastri, on the other hand, represents a different kind of excellence. He's quiet, focused, and ruthless on track, yet far less interested in the spotlight. He doesn't build hype, he simply delivers results. But that contrast has reportedly caused tension within McLaren's leadership. And if Alex Palou's courtroom statements are to be believed, Zak Brown might never have emotionally invested in Piastri's long-term success, seeing him as a forced choice rather than a strategic one. Meanwhile, the courtroom drama itself has peeled back layers of discomfort McLaren would rather keep hidden. The team is now seeking up to $30 million in damages from Palou for breach of contract, claiming his refusal to join cost them millions in potential sponsorship deals. Palou, however, maintains that he was misled, that Zak Brown's conflicting promises about an eventual Formula One seat made it impossible for him to trust the team's intentions. Then comes the twist that deepens the story. Palou claims he was in direct contact with Red Bull's Helmut Marko during mid-2023, discussing a possible switch to AlphaTauri, now Racing Bulls. That potential deal fell apart as soon as Red Bull discovered the staggering cost of buying out his McLaren contract. The revelation highlights just how tangled McLaren's web of contracts, negotiations, and cross-promises has become. It paints a picture of a team caught in its own complexity, one struggling to balance ambition with honesty. So where does all this leave Oscar Piastri? The Australian's calm and disciplined demeanour may be hiding a growing storm beneath the surface. Sources have already linked him with a possible Ferrari move for 2027, a rumour that, after these revelations, feels far more believable. If McLaren continues to prioritise Norris, or if Piastri senses that his efforts aren't being recognised, he might decide to walk away in search of a team that truly values him as its #1 driver. If Zak Brown's credibility takes another hit because of this trial, the consequences could ripple far beyond the courtroom. Sponsors despise instability. McLaren's image as the comeback story of modern Formula One could collapse overnight. And with the 2026 regulation overhaul fast approaching, an era expected to redefine car design, power units, and competitive order, losing Piastri now could mean losing more than a driver. It could cost McLaren the very foundation of its future competitiveness. Because make no mistake, Piastri isn't just a race winner. He's the type of driver a team can build an era around. If McLaren lets that slip away, they risk surrendering not only a championship contender, but their entire identity heading into the next generation of Formula One. So here's the real question. If Zak Brown truly never wanted Oscar Piastri, what does that mean for the team's future? Can a Formula One outfit truly thrive when its championship leader feels unwanted by the man at the top? Or will this scandal ignite something bigger, perhaps even push Piastri straight into Ferrari red, where he could become the star McLaren failed to embrace? Let me know what you think in the comments. Is McLaren imploding from within, eaten away by its own politics and conflicting agendas? Or is this all part of a deeper, long-term strategy that the rest of us just can't see yet?